Tai Mei Tuk means the fairy ant in Cantonese, which depicts the landscape. Today, Tai Mei Tuk is a lovely oasis between Plover Cove and the reservoir, which is located in the Tai Po district, New Territories, Hong Kong. It is a popular place for leisure and is also a famous place for barbecues, hiking, and cycling. There are villages and a harbor nearby where many restaurants can be found.
As we may know, there are mangroves along the coastline of Tingkok. Development may do it harm and affect the ecological balance of this rare natural environment in Hong Kong. What is the ecological value of mangroves and nearby marine species?
Well, mangroves are what ecologists call ecosystems of high biological productivity. So, although in Hong Kong there are only 8 species of true mangroves, there are associated mangrove plant species that occupy the same habitat, and many marine fauna species are also associated with mangrove ecosystems. So, mangroves support species of fish, crabs, mollusks like mud snails, that all depend on those mangrove plant species for their existence. Nearby areas in Tingkok, for example, we also have seahorses. They also live in environments near mangroves in Hong Kong or in other areas. And mangroves also provide food sources for marine species that are subtidal, so they actually live in the sea, but their food as organic carbon originally would come from the mangroves.
Long Mei is a small beach in Tingkok, Tai Po. It is right beside Tai Mei Tuk. A controversial proposal to turn, by 2015, a stretch of coastline near Tai Po into a 200-meter-long artificial public beach. Hong Kong Chief Executive Ying gave the plan to go ahead in October 2012, but environmentalists and green groups argue that the project is a disaster for the 200 marine and bird species inhabiting the sea.
我本人已經係出世住到依家，已經係68歲㗎啦。46年出世，跟住好似話齋，我哋細個嗰陣時咧，就會海咧攞蜆啊、捉蝦、捉蟹啊。以前咧就好多呢啲個海產捉嘅。甚至我哋夜晚咧跟埋啲大人咧攞啲氣燈咧或者攞啲火水燈咧走去海咧就照啲蝦啊、照啲蟹啊，捉得非常多嘅。如果我哋好似話齋捉耐啲多嘅，好似捉得2桶都有。
幾年？
大嘅
有冇超過10年啊？
未有。
OK， 主要係啲咩人係即係咩旅客多，係本地定係唔係？
一時時咯，睇季節咯。
哦。
咩季節會外地遊客多？
咩季節嗱？有時冬天咯。
冬天。
啲旅行團啊，啲鴨脷團。
OK， 係咧，你呢個鋪頭嘅生意同以前比係越嚟越好定係冇？
通貨膨脹緊。
OK。
咁你以前揾1萬，而家揾2萬，咁樣通貨膨脹其實都係1萬啊嘛。
俾多啲旅遊設施嘅話，對你會係咩？
呢個對香港好唔好？其實係好嘅。
好。即係你都覺得對自己生意都好嘅。
咁你人流多自然會好㗎，始終都會好啲㗎嘛，係咪先？你香港都吸引嗰啲旅遊客嚟香港㗎啦，係咪先？起碼賺翻啲外匯㗎嘛。
你啱講塞車嘅問題，你係咪平時假期會好大塞車咁樣？
有時會好似大時大節，佢呢條路根本上就負擔唔到。
哦，即係啲人嚟踩單車，所以
星期6日啦，揾住大時大節入嚟啊，你就知道啦。
So, to what extent will development affect the environment?
In Tingkok, because it's the largest stand of mangroves in eastern Hong Kong, there would be quite severe impacts from development. The worst case scenario is if there is complete reclamation of the coastal area, and that will lead to habitat loss. So you lose the mangroves and their associated animal species altogether. A less serious scenario would be a lot of disturbance. There will be people coming to the mangroves and nearby area, maybe for recreation, to go to restaurants. And if they go on the mangroves, there will be lots of trampling or over-collecting. There's also going to be habitat degradation. Many of the houses along Tingkok Road and in Tingkok Village itself, they use septic tank systems. They're not actually connected to a centralized sewage treatment facility. So there is a danger of increased pollution risk along the mangroves as well. In Tingkok, there's also over-collection of some marine species like clams and rock oysters. So the more people that come to these areas, because of lack of awareness of conservation, there may be these problems.
一嚟可能咧污染晒，二嚟咧就根本咧嗰啲沙灘咧就變咗泥灘，泥灘啲嗰啲海產咧唔會喺度可以生存到噶嘛。
你知唔知點解冇晒啲魚啊？即係覺得
可能依家咁嘅環境咧就唔同晒咯，可能嗰啲即係水嗰方面咧就污染晒咯，同埋啲化學我哋嗰個丁屋嗰啲咧好多嗰啲污水嗰啲咧流落嗰個海噶嘛，嗰啲河水全部流落個大海咁所以變咗咧咁污染到嗰啲即係海洋。以前咧亦都有海參嘅，有嗰啲好似話一條條嗰啲海星，海星，同埋咧有啲好似依家嗰啲叫咩我哋走去食日本嘢嗰啲鹼好多噶，係啊！我哋呢度同埋嗰啲嗰啲好似青苔嗰啲叫海苔嗰啲叫咩嗰啲又可以食得噶。以前好多嘢攞噶，我哋個海真係原居民。有啲物業有啲丁屋嘅，咁呢樣嘢即係對我哋原居民就好咗好多咯。但係我哋咧人口多咗咧，依家我哋都搭車都好辛苦咯。
Are the effects of development irreversible?
No. Not unless you wait for many, many years for the mangroves to re-establish. Even if you plant mangroves back, they will take decades to fully establish and develop the structurally complex vertical zonation that we see in mangroves, like in Tingkok. Normally, you have pioneer mangrove species that occupy the seaward edge, like Candelia and Avicennia. But towards the back of the mangrove, the more landward side, you have species like Excocaria. These are tall trees that take many years to grow and mature. So unless you also take into concern the water flow in the areas, and there is a supply of fresh water, which mangroves need to grow, you cannot really engineer back a natural-looking mangrove ecosystem.
Okay, thank you.
In the past decade, the government has been trying to develop the rural area along the coastline in Tingkok. With the proposed plan, Tingkok was supposed to be reconstructed into a new artificial beach through removing mangroves and mud peat by covering it with sand. As a result, 300 animals and plant species could vanish from Hong Kong's Long May shoreline due to the project. In fact, it is an action that destroying the rare natural habitat with great ecological value. With numerous concerns and objections that voiced by different ecological parties, local residents and protectors, The project is being suspended due to a judicial review case. To achieve sustainable development, the authority should ensure the region's economic development, raise community awareness about environmental problems, or offer a number of alternative options for general public. We should treasure the place like Taipei took, and also make efforts to advocate long-term and holistic measures for Hong Kong in terms of nature conservation, fishery management, and scrutinizing developments with the aims of protecting Hong Kong's rich and diverse marine environment. Between temporary pleasures and marine environment, what will be your choice?